All right, there's a little lag there. So we're here to talk about today how pregnancy is not necessarily a prerequisite for pelvic floor and core weakness. So good morning, my name is Dominique, and this is episode 17 of I Woke Up Like This. I think I wrote 16 in the Facebook one, but that's okay. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on a Monday morning at 7 a.m. Just like I am here all the time on at 7 a.m. on Monday. So just here to address a comment that was made a little bit earlier. I guess it would be last week because this is a new week now. And I was speaking with somebody about personal training and what I offer. And this person said to me, "Oh, I don't need that. I don't need training from you. I've never had children." So this is false on so many levels. So let me give a quick overview on the core and pelvic floor system. It consists of 4 muscles: the diaphragm, the pelvic floor, the transversus abdominis, and the multifidi. These are all your innermost abdominal muscles, or your innermost core muscles. And these muscles work synergistically all together to anticipate movements within the body. Okay? We all have this. We all move through life in some way, shape, or form, and we all need these muscles to function properly. So, yes, women and those who have had children are one type of population that is susceptible to core and pelvic floor weakness. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to talk faster than my brain is working. And and so it, because of the changes that occurs in a woman's body, both through pregnancy, labor, and birth, whether it is vaginally or a belly birth, these are all factors that come into play. But those are not the only factors. Men and women can both have pelvic floor weakness. So we're not even just talking about women here now. Men, yes. Women, again, a little more susceptible because we have one additional opening that men don't have for intra-abdominal pressure to escape through. So there's that thin band of connective tissue that connects the two sides of the rectus abdominis together, as well as the anal opening. And women have the vaginal opening, men don't. So a little bit more, again, susceptible to that weakness. Age is also a factor. As we age, it is getting more and more common for it to be recommended that we lift weights and such into getting older. So our muscles tend to get a little bit more relaxed. Things start to soften a little bit more. Things aren't where they used to be. And this can be associated as well with these internalmost core muscles. Wow, my brain is simply blanking today. The next one is athleticism, especially if you are taking part in any kind of high impact athletic type movement where, say, there's jumping, running, anything that would put a lot of impact on the pelvic floor. And things, again, aren't being managed properly. So this starts to cause weakness and starts to put things out of alignment in terms of those muscles and them not functioning together to create the tension to match the task that is at hand. Next one is injury, surgery. Anything that has happened, especially around the core area or along the pelvis area, can also lead to various types of pelvic floor weakness and core weakness. And eating disorders, which is a big one that a lot of people don't take into consideration. And this is due to some symptoms of pelvic floor specific weakness. Is things like constipation. So binging, eating, the pressure that is caused during the purging phases, if anybody suffers from those. These are all contributing factors to pelvic floor weakness, and there's probably some more that are just not crossing my mind right now because it is 7 o'clock on a Monday morning. So what are some of the symptoms of pelvic floor weakness. I like to call it weakness. The technical term is dysfunction, if there's anything you wanted to Google about it, but I don't like the word dysfunction, so I call it weakness. So leaking urine or stool during daily activities or exercise, urine or fecal urge and the frequency that you want to do it, diastasis recti, which is that abdominal separation through the linea alba, that connective tissue between the six-pack muscles, and that can be caused by, again, this could be caused by pregnancy. It could also be caused by just not knowing how to properly handle that intra-abdominal pressure. C-section scars or pain in the C-section scar, episiotomy, pelvic organ prolapse, painful sex, constipation, bladder pain, lower back and tailbone pain, and pain or function that has changed after surgery. So again, that seems like a pretty extensive list. I think I got them all, but who knows. So there was something I want to talk about before I wanted to talk about this next point, but I'm not thinking about it. Maybe it'll come back to me, maybe, or maybe I'll have to just talk about it later. So what can we do about it? The way I start off with all of my clients and the Yoga for Core and Pelvic Health class is awareness. Awareness at what is happening. This is the way we are naturally meant to breathe. That pelvic floor, the pelvic diaphragm, is a breathing muscle. Okay? These are all meant to work together to help you breathe and to help you, again, manage that intra-abdominal pressure. So when you're doing things like high-intensity exercise, that pressure that's being created within the core is not trying to escape through different places. So we bring this awareness in by aligning the body properly and applying breathing techniques. And this is how we're going to start off at the very beginning with no matter who I work out with. And you will be amazed at the change that this does. Following that, we start to bring in some techniques that are going to help you, again, just learn how to move through these things. It's going to take a little bit of extra thought process at first, but then guaranteed you're going to feel so much better going through movements, especially exercise. Squats were something that I had a really hard time with after my pelvic floor weakness diagnosis, and it changed my world just to be able to go through these techniques, learn how to breathe properly, learn how to move properly, learn how it's supposed to feel within my body to move, especially the movement of the pelvic floor. And there's so many ways that we can really tap into that. So I should say as well, this was the point that I was going to bring up. Weakness does not necessarily mean go and do your Kegels. Weakness can show up in two ways. It can be either that the muscles are not able to have tension within them. It could also be because they are too tense. And when things are too tense, they get weak in time. So I always think about in terms of specifically leaking, because that's what I went through. When I think of leaking, I think of jumping on a trampoline, and not in the way you think about when you are leaking. But I remember as a kid when I was jumping on a trampoline with people, and you'd hit the trampoline at the wrong time, and it would feel like you hit the ground, but you were expecting that give, that bounce, but it never happened. So if you kind of apply that thought process to the pelvic floor, and it's tight, 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 and then you do something like cough, sneeze, jump, run, some kind of activity that creates kind of like a jostle within your body. And if you are susceptible to leakage, both urinary or fecal, it's got nowhere, it's kind of already tensed up, you're feeling a little full, and there's just no give to help you continue to support the fullness of your bladder. So just kind of a little food for thought in terms of how tension and weakness can kind of lead to the same thing. When you're weak, you just don't have the ability to hold it. And so it's kind of the same thing, but it's two different approaches to the same thing, if that makes any sense. Again, it's just popped into my head. I wish I planned to say that a little bit better. But yeah, trampoline, hitting it at the wrong time when you are jumping on a trampoline with somebody else. So that is all I have got for you this morning. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in to I Woke Up Like This. If you have questions, comments, concerns, post them below if you're watching on the Facebook replay, and send me a DM if you're checking out the Instagram replay. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got requests for something that you would like me to talk about, feel free to throw them out there. Let me know. And I'm going to go back to enjoying this coffee before all the children wake up and the chaos of starting school starts or getting ready for school. So thanks so much again for tuning in, and I will see you next Monday, same time, more or less. Couple minutes difference. I try not to do that though. All right, thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye.